Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies wish list. So that's a hell of a mouthful. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the title, which it's probably going to be the title. I guarantee you there's so many sources pointing towards that being the title. If it's not, I'd be very damn surprised. But we're just gonna go with that title for now. Let's just talk about what I want to see from Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies, because there's a lot of shit that I want in this game, stuff that I want to return, some new stuff, and this is just what I want, not really what I think is going to happen, because my predictions are very different from what I actually want to happen. You know, this is just, some of these expectations might be a little too high, might be a little unreasonable, but they're just opinions, just what I want to see in this game, some suggestions as well. So let's get into it, starting off with the first thing, which is these maps need to have a lot of stuff to do in them. I've seen a lot of people say they want this game to be very, very simplistic, back to like the Black Ops 1 World at War style maps, and I can't disagree with that anymore. I'm okay with having a few maps here and there that are more survival-like, and they just have a few things like your perks, pack-a-punch, guns, whatever, but they don't have like any Easter eggs. But I think we need maps that have just so much shit to it. And I'm not just talking about the main Easter egg quest. I want a lot of stuff that doesn't even revolve around the main quest, or even any quest in general. I just want stuff like challenge podiums, which we've already seen from like Ancient Evil. You saw it in Zetsubo, Garad Krovi, Revelations, where you have these little challenges you can do and you get rewards for it. It gives you something to do in the game, it gives you something to work towards. Little just interactive features, like for example on Spaceland, you had the whole ticket system and you could play arcade games and do these Neil challenges. They need interactive features like this that allow players to do stuff in the game, and not stuff that requires a guide necessarily, because yes, of course, there's a lot of different things you can do in a lot of different zombies maps, but a lot of them aren't very easy to do for the average player. You need to do stuff that anyone can do. Anyone can just drop in and play the arcade machines on Spaceland, but not everyone can get the steak knife on Dead of the Night. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm talking about. I would like a lot of those side quests that give you good rewards. Of course, I'm all for that, but also have a lot of other features that just kind of bring more life into the game, you know, give it more replay value, so I have a reason to keep playing and doing it again and again and again. And even just for the Easter egg itself, yeah, I still would like it to be replayable. Make it a non-tedious Easter egg, I guess. I'm okay with it being long, I'm okay with some of the stuff being hard, but just don't make it so I'm running back and forth on the map, picking up a piece, putting it in one place, going to pick up another piece, and that's not really fun. You gotta make the maps, you know, interactive. That's the most important thing in my eyes, is to be interactive, and for all players, not just one player inputting codes into a machine. No, we need all to be doing stuff, and that's what makes these Easter eggs fun, and that's what the best Easter eggs have, in my opinion. Another thing that I'd really like that would increase the replay value and also be really good for the casual zombies fans is to make survival maps that are cut from the main maps themselves. This is something that Transit did, of course. You had Town, Farm, and Bus Depot. That was just sections of Transit cut off. Do the same thing for some of the maps that we have in the game. Like, they could have done that for Shadows of Evil. Imagine if Shadows of Evil had different playable survival maps. One of them was the waterfront, one of them was the Footlight District, and one of them was the canals. And you can play those with just those specific areas, and they just have a pack-a-punch machine, a couple perks, and the wall guns. So those people who want just those fun survival maps that are really difficult because they don't have crazy wonder weapons, but they're just really fun to mess around on. There's nothing really Easter egg heavy to do on them. You have those, but Treyarch doesn't have to make completely original maps to do that. They can just make it based off of the maps we already have in the game. That would make it easier for them. I don't think anyone would complain about that, to be honest, because that was one of the things I did really appreciate about Black Ops 2, was the fact that they did those cool survival maps cut off from the main game. Next up, perk system. Now, this is a very interesting thing, and I think they need to nail this, because if they don't nail the perk system, it's going to start this game off on a really bad foot, because it's probably the biggest complaint about BO4. I'm not against BO4's system, but I do think, for the sake of the community, I do think they should do something that's more akin to the Black Ops 3 system. But there's some elements from BO4 that they need to take, like for example the perk modifiers. Implement some sort of an upgrade system that includes perk modifiers and it makes perks better. Now, my suggestion would be simply that after you purchase the perk in the game, you have to complete some sort of a challenge, and it's the same every game, and not like a tedious challenge, something you're gonna do no matter what. Like if you have PhD Flopper, maybe just get 100 explosive kills, or if you have double tap, just get like 100 zombie kills within a certain amount of time. Simple challenges like that, after you complete it, boom, your perk is upgraded, or maybe you have to go back to the perk machine, buy it again, and it'll upgrade it from there. Some simple stuff like that that would just kind of increase the replayability. Again, all these things are here to increase the replayability because that's really important to me. I want this game to last a long time. It won't last a long time if it doesn't have enough features to the maps for you to do. But I do think the BO4 attempts at trying to limit crutch perks is a good thing. I do think they should make Jug its own separate perk entity rather than being a set of the 4 main perks. Double tap, honestly, I would be completely fine if that was built into Pack-a-Punch, and Quick Revive should work just like it did in BO4 in my opinion. Speed Cola though, you can bring back, I'm fine with that. And I've already talked about the perk systems, how I want that to be in this game in a previous video, so if you want to go check that out, link will be in the description down below for that video. I'm not going to go too in depth in the perk system in this video. Next up is a big thing. We need rewards. Rewards for the majority of the stuff we do within this game. So that includes Easter eggs, right? Contracts, challenges, tournaments, prestiging. All these things should reward you with rewards, and they should be good rewards, not calling cards or emblems. I'm talking weapon variants, like weapon skins, camos, maybe like actual character skins. Maybe have it so certain things in the map are easier after you've completed these different challenges. Like Infinite Warfare did this. After you complete this challenge shuffle Easter egg, the katana wonder weapon that you get at the end of the Easter egg is now available on the map right off the wall, rather than having to complete the difficult quest that you have to go through to get it. It's just right on the wall for you there for 10,000 points. Raven the Red was the same thing. Chainsaw weapon was on the wall after you complete the Easter egg. So that stuff like that makes the maps more enjoyable after you already completed the main Easter egg, and I don't think it takes away from anything because it's only for the people who actually want to go the extra mile to do the Easter egg. And when I was talking about tournaments, they should include tournament-like systems into this game. And I know Zombies has a lot of RNG behind it, that's why it's hard for Zombies to do competitive stuff, but an easy way to fix that is so make the tournaments like a week-long thing, right? So an example I have is 1 week will be, the challenge of the week will be Easter egg speedrunning on map X or whatever, just a random map. And that week, everyone tries to speedrun that Easter egg, and the times will obviously be saved in a big scoreboard. Obviously, they have to limit the abilities for people to hack, because hacking would probably be really easy to do, especially because the leaderboards have never been too good in COD, so they need to try their best to limit, you know, hacking and glitching and stuff like that. But you would have these leaderboards here that would have the different speedrun times, and the top 50, top 100 or whatever get some sort of reward. And there's nothing to do with RNG there because you have a whole week to do it. You can play the map enough to the point where RNG won't even be a problem, because you're going to get at least one run that's been really, you had a good RNG for. There's no way you're going to run the map like 20 times within the week and then just not get any good RNG. And if you just don't, you don't, and you just miss out on that week, I guess. It's whatever. But the next week, there's a brand new challenge that you can try to compete with and try to get different things. And they don't all have to be Easter egg speedruns either. You can do stuff like high round speedruns, or even just getting the most amount of headshots within that week. Stuff like that that just gets people to play the game more. And maybe if they bring back custom mutations, they can implement that in a way to where there's certain custom mutation settings that will be like a weekly challenge. In those settings, you have to try to complete the Easter egg on. Maybe it would make the game much harder, the zombie speed would be increased or something like that. That would really increase replayability for this game long term. I mean, you'd see YouTubers doing weekly live streams trying to compete with these things, and the rewards have to be good. That's the most important thing, and that's why I say rewards is one of the most important things, because if the rewards were simple calling cards, nobody would do it. Nobody would compete in it. But maybe even it's just something like COD points. Imagine COD points, like, I don't know, 5,000 COD points for the top 10 people, right? 5,000 COD points is equal to about $50 in real life. People would go for that. They would want that so they can buy their favorite skins in the shop, use them in multiplayer, and use them all different places. That would be a great reward that would give the people who are good at the game and really grind it out a reward. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. That's a big thing for me. I think Black Ops 4 should have done something like that, and I'm really hoping this game does, because Zombies competitive can be a thing. It's just you have to do it in a certain way so RNG doesn't become a big factor in it, because obviously we all know RNG is automatically going to be some sort of a factor in Zombies no matter what, when it comes to literally anything, because of how the zombie spawns work and how power-ups drop and all that type of stuff. But if you work it in the way I just said, RNG is not an issue. Next up, game modes. I think Black Ops 4 did pretty good in terms of game modes, but I think they need to do even better. Give us Grief back, give us Rush back, but make it much better. Give us a gun game mode. You know, we've seen all these awesome game modes within custom mods on Black Ops 3, give us some cool stuff like that we can mess around with our friends. Maybe, like I said, gun game, 4 players in there, and the first one to get the most amount of kills or whatever, get to the last gun that's on the list wins. You can play these on these mini survival maps that I've been saying they should add into the game. How freaking perfect would that be? It would be absolutely amazing, and I think it would really also increase the fun value of this game, because you'd be able to do these challenges with your friends and see who can get the highest scores, who can win all the games and stuff like that. People will be playing it daily. Next up, the Easter eggs need to be dynamic. I want dynamic events that feel like a campaign mission that change the game. They've done this before, you know, stuff like blowing up the moon, blowing up the earth. They've done it, but do it more. I want to see stuff like half of the map being exploded midway through the Easter egg, or you being able to, like, I don't know, implement and change different ways of how the map works. I can't give you an explanation as to how, because it really just depends on the map. If we're going to talk specifics, imagine Voyage of Despair. There was like dynamic elements going on there. Maybe a certain part of the Easter egg, the boat would actually start sinking while you're playing. It would take a lot of stuff and resources from Treyarch to do that, but I really hope that they could, and I think that would be just insanely awesome. It would make the events much more cinematic. It would make the story more interactive, and people would be more invested in it. Next up, story. Since we're talking about story, we might as well go into story. I'm not a big story person, you know. I really enjoy the story, but that's not gonna make or break this game for me. It could have a really shitty story, but if it has a really solid gameplay experience, I don't really care. But story is still important in some aspects, so I do want the story to connect to the ether in some way, but still feeling very new. And I just want something that, I don't know, just is interesting. That's something I want to see the next, you know, map on. I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen next, and hopefully they got the CGI cutscenes that we've seen in, you know, some of the Black Ops 4 maps and all the Black Ops 3 maps. I would really love to see that again. And last but not least, this is a very, very stretch. I really doubt we'll ever get something like this, but I want to bring it up anyways because I think it would be an awesome system that would make me actually enjoy doing high rounds. And that's a way to pause the game and save it and then go back to it later. I want to do this because I want to go for high rounds, but I know it takes way too long sometimes to get to any decently high round, and I'm not trying to sit there for hours upon hours going for around 150 on classified, for example. But I would be more inclined to do it if you were able to pause the game, save it, and then go back later. That would be great, because many times my friends hop on, they want to play zombies or they want to play another game or whatever. Now I got to leave the game. I know you can just leave your game on pause if you're, you know, not doing anything else, but like I said, first of all, I don't want to leave my Xbox on for that long. Second of all, I would like to play other games in the meantime, play with my other friends on different games. So being able to save the game file would do huge things for high rounders, because they'd be able to, you know, get to round 67 or something, pause it, save the game file, then the next day go back, they'll do a couple rounds again, and they'll pause it and go back, do another couple rounds the next day. It would make high rounds less about how patient you are and more about how skilled you are. And also they need to just do something about high rounds in general, because they've been kind of broken recently, where they're like stuck at like certain rounds, especially in Black Ops 3, but Black Ops 4 it was a little bit better. But I think they need to make high rounds just more about skill and less about, you know, the tedious nature of it, because it's way too, like, the zombies just have way too high of health in certain rounds. I think instead they should just increase how fast the zombies hit, maybe make it by a little bit though, not by too much, because obviously then it'd be way too difficult. But I don't think people should be getting these crazy high rounds as easily as they are. I think maybe making it so it's more difficult rather than taking more bullets to kill zombies is what I'm trying to get at there, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for zombies. Honestly, I'm just really excited for what they can bring. I'm also really excited for the multiplayer and the campaign aspects, but honestly, zombies is probably like the #1 thing I'm most excited for. And I think they'll hit the nail on the head as they usually do. There's a lot of other things I want, but honestly, if we were here saying literally everything I wanted from this game, we would be here for like 24 hours, because there's just so freaking much I can talk about when it comes to what I want in this game. But I wanted to kind of simplify it into as little words as possible. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.